the Seattle Kraken are able to escape Dallas with a overtime victory after Joe Pavelski has one hell of a game. I mean, you talk about a return. This guy came from being basically knocked out in a game, misses a couple games, and comes back in his return and gets 4 goals. He was basically the entire Dallas offense. Now, of course, he had help, and he had a lot of his team around him, played really well, but you cannot underestimate just how good Pavelski played this game, how much of an impact he has on this team, and because that was something special to watch. He single-handedly just, brought this game into overtime for the Stars. But I think, speaking of just how wild this game was, first period was one of the craziest first periods, I think, of this playoff so far. Just the back and forth between the two. I think initially you thought, all right, well, Dallas comes out and they get the goal right away, that they might run away with it. Seattle comes back with a goal of their own, and Dallas gets another one again. And you got to credit the Kraken for not quitting, and especially in going down early. Not that they really are going to quit, but just they didn't really let it get to them. They still kept the same pressure. They still played the same game that they were playing against Colorado. And not only do they tie it back up, but they go up. Right, all in the first, they go up 4-2, all in the first period, and that's just how crazy this playoffs has been, and also just how good the Kraken have been, right? I think you really have to give them credit for the way they played, the way they come out, and admittedly, I didn't watch as much of the Kraken this season as I probably would have liked, but the way that they're able to what came to mind this game was a quick strike, right? They're like a quick strike team, like they have the ability, and especially if you look at that second goal, when they tied up to 2-2, there was just a battle on the corner, and then there was a cross ice pass, and Schultz was able to get it and just shoot it against the green on Oettinger, and then no later, right? They get another opportunity coming in 2-on-1, and I believe it's Bjorkstrand comes in and just rifles that. Right, I don't know if it was tipped or not, but regardless, like great shot. I mean, people might think Oettinger probably should have had that one. I don't know. I mean, that was a really good shot. Placed it really well. The speed of the shot, and I think that the Kraken are they're a scary team. They're really good, and they beat the defending Cup champions for a reason, and it's because of their ability to just, like I said, quick strike. Right, they're able to get goals off the rush like that really quickly, and come out of nowhere, and get those goals of theirs. And so it was one of those things where I think after the first, a wild period, but I think you could kind of think like, all right, does Dallas have any fight in them? Like what's going to happen? Are we going to see Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, these guys step up? But it was none other than Joe Pavelski, man. Like he comes in, and again, I think single-handedly dragged them into OT. Which, his ability to tip the puck, unbelievable. I don't really get to see too much of the West Coast games as often, but you can't help but just be amazed by the ability of Pavelski to find ways to tip the puck, get chances in front, and it was pretty crazy to watch. But I think once the game kind of settled down a little bit, and it was still 4-2 going into the third, but the game settled in terms of just both teams were playing the way that they, I think, wanted to play. But my opinion is that there were a couple good chances with the Kraken. Oettinger came up big. I thought he came up really big after that first period. A little bit of shaky start first period, but I don't know again how much you can really blame him on a lot of those goals. But I think the Dallas Stars took control of this game, especially once, once they got that third goal, and I thought they were going to run away with this one, right? They get that third goal, Pavelski gets the Hattie, and you could feel it, right? You could feel that Dallas was like going to do what they did like last series against Minnesota, and they were going to take control of this game. They had the crowd on their side, and I don't know if they had the Kraken on the ropes. I don't think Kraken played as if they were on the ropes. It didn't seem like that to me anyway. It just felt like the Stars were like really connecting on all their chances, you know? And again, I don't even think it was a major mistake by the Kraken. You just look at that tying goal by Pavelski when he tips it in midair. Is that a mistake by the Kraken? I don't know. I can't see how that's really Grubauer's fault. I can't see how that's a defenseman's fault. You know, it's like, that's just an amazing play by Pavelski. But so, you know, it's just one of those things when momentum is on your side in these playoffs, it is a really hard thing to stop, you know? And that was just what a way to battle back by the Stars. And I thought that they were owning it. I thought that they had the momentum. They had the, you know, that feeling about them that they were just going to take this game in OT. But just like anything in these playoffs, all it takes is that one shift, that one shot, right? And I think it's pretty common. It's been common in these playoffs so far that the overtime goals are not always these pretty breakaway, fancy plays. Sometimes it's a little bit of broken down plays. It's a little bit of a scramble, quick shot in front, you know? And that's what happened here. You know, you got Oettinger makes a save with the blocker, bumps it in front of him a little bit, and a little bit of rebound and scramble in front of him, and then Yanni Gourde just spins and shoots, right? I don't even think from what it looked like, I don't know how much he really, really tried to aim it. He was just so quick that Oettinger was kind of in that one knee down in that VH, and I just don't, it went above his glove, and I don't know how much he really, I guess, could have tracked that puck as much as he wanted to. I think if he had the ability to really track that puck, it kind of surprised him a little bit. If he had been able to track it, I think he would have been able to make a better play on it. But so quick, and that's what you kind of need. You just need pucks on net and intention. You know, there has to be some intention to what you're doing when you put the puck on net, and that's what happened here. It wasn't just like Igor didn't just spin around and just flip it towards the net. He actually just turned around and whipped it really hard because you're I feel like you're also looking for a bit of a rebound, right? Looking at that play again, it was such a great shot. But if you can't get the best look on a shot, you at least want to get a really hard shot in front so it could bounce off something, get a good rebound, and maybe get some height on that shot, so it's not just gonna go on the ice and get, you know, deadened by the goalie in a butterfly or whatever. But, you know, it was really great game, really good game one between two teams here, especially if you weren't rooting for any of these teams. What a game one. I think, you know, the story here, like, I feel like these two teams, it's weird. I feel like the Dallas Stars are such a good team, and the way they match up, like the way they match up to the Wild. I mean, the Wild, I don't think played as well as they had in the regular season, but overall, I think the Stars matched up well with the Wild. But now looking how the Kraken play, I think the Stars and the Kraken, I just feel like they play, can't say similar styles, but I will go on a limb and just say that their strengths of either team are similar, right? They have really good offensive side to their games. I think that their goaltending for both these teams has come up big for them when they both most need it. And I think that, you know, defensively, I don't think they're a flashy defensive team, either one of them. But I do think that they, like, both sometimes are susceptible to chances in the middle, kind of, you know, things like that. And when it scrambles in front a little bit, right? Like when there's just a lot of traffic in front and multiple chances in front, I think both teams kind of struggle with that. But in terms of, you know, goaltending, I think we have really great goaltending matchups in the West Coast here in this first day here between Bobrovsky and Samsonov, and then we got, you know, Grubauer and Oettinger. You know, I hear the broadcast talk about how Oettinger is probably the best goalie of the remaining teams, and I think in a way, yeah, he could be, but you know, I think you want to, you know, not count out just how good Grubauer has been for the Kraken, especially last series against the Avs. I think that Grubauer has been really, you know, he could just tell he's got that veteran confidence about him, you know, and yes, he'll let in 3 goals, 4 goals, and, you know, or 2 unanswered goals and all that, but he didn't seem like he was a little unshakable, right? He didn't seem too phased in a way, right? His game didn't change. His demeanor didn't really change. His aggressiveness didn't really change. You know, sometimes when goalies find themselves getting scored on a bunch, they can start to not play out as much, and they may get a little deep in their net, or maybe the over challenge. You know, they want to beat the puck, and so they'll challenge too much and they'll be overly aggressive. I don't think either goalie, honestly, I don't think either goalie really strayed away from what makes them great. It was just good chances, right? But I think that this series, is going to come down to which offense can, generate the most chances and make these goalies really have to work hard to make those saves. And also, I just think goaltending, right? It's cliche to say, and I hate to even say it for every single series, but I think this one in particular, you're looking at a really, really good young goalie against a veteran who, a seasoned veteran who's been on really great teams, who knows what it takes to win and knows his role in being that brick wall for the Kraken back there. So it's not like, and I don't think Grubauer is looking at this where he has to make flashier saves or even he has to necessarily outdo Oettinger. I think he just has to go and make the saves he needs to, make the timely saves he needs to. He made an amazing save, made two stops. It was kind of on OT. He had a breakaway, and then there was a rebound on that breakaway. Again, those Pavelski goals, I don't know how you can really fault him on a bunch of those. It was just great tip-ins by him. So it's going to be interesting to see. I feel like if you were to tell me that this series would go 7 games, I would easily believe that. I could easily believe that these two teams going to Game 7. I think that this game really could have went either way. In my opinion, I think if this game, if that wasn't OT and that was just an extra period, I think we would be seeing another tie at the end of that, those 20 minutes there. It was really good back and forth between the two. Felt like the Stars had it. I really did. I felt like they had it after they get that 4th goal. But again, overtime is a bit of a different animal, and the Kraken just threw those pucks at the net, and luckily one of them went in. But again, I expect the Stars to come out strong next game, and got to give. Let's give credit to the Kraken, right? They just beat former Cup champions. Regardless of whether or not there were a couple injuries to the Avalanche, I think the Kraken are very, very much the real deal. I don't think that was a fluke by any means, and we'll see how they do here. It's been a really fun ride to see them go on, and let's just see how they keep continuing it.